It is the Bennington Show. I'm Ron Bennington. With me, as always, except for when she keeps having babies, is Gail Bennington. But she is breaking protocol by being with us today. Hello, Gail.
Hi. I had to be here today. Wanted to be with the people that I love. Because this is a hard one. And we had to do it together.
For those of you without social media, more or less the sane people who don't sit around and check your phone constantly, we got some rough news. We lost Fezzy Saturday night, 2:30 in the morning. So the plan was to come in and do a show. I don't know how long we'll last today.
I don't know.
The entire team, there's no one that can step up. I look around.
No, absolutely not.
Vito has completely turned his back on us. So we were going to talk, just kind of do an Irish wake, if you will, about Fez. But anyone who's followed the show over the years knows that Fez hasn't been well in a long time. And he had a major heart attack 5 months ago where he redlined and his heart stopped. And he had another one on Monday. And it was almost like an identical type of thing where they were going to put him in that kind of controlled coma that they do and then slowly bring him out of it and see how he was doing and all that. It was the same exact thing. So, like with Fez, there was always some kind of hope that he would come back from these things. But when they were bringing him out of him, he had another heart attack. They resuscitated him, and then obviously another one after that. So I don't know how many heart attacks altogether that poor guy has went through. It's got to be a record though. But this time he didn't come back. And for me and Gail, this wasn't just somebody we did a show with.
No, this guy was our family. I've known him my whole life. My brother has known him his whole life. He's not only Ron's best friend, he's my mom's best friend. And honestly, I would say like that he would be like, it would be any event, it would be my immediate family and Fez. He was part of everything. I mean, everything that we did together was really the five of us. And, you know, we all got together at my parents' house this weekend, and I was looking through old photos of him, like as though I would have to go searching for them. But you don't have to search for them. He's in all of them. He was with us through everything.
And for the record, he honestly forced him way so into all those events. I'm a very private person. I have friends. I just think, okay, you should keep that kind of friendship, because all my friends have always been crazy, away from the family. And Fez is just like, no, I'm coming. And he would just show up. And when the kids, look, there's no one who's, I mean, everyone knows Fez from the air, and we'll get into the Ron and Fez show and what was true and what wasn't true, which quite frankly, none of us are really even all that sure of. But when it came to Fez and kids, I don't know if I've ever seen another person the kids like better than Fez.
No. He was so close to me and my brother, and my brother just had just the greatest relationship with him. But he did that through with so many people, and he was such a great uncle to his nieces and nephews. My brother and I grew up with his niece and nephew, Andrew and Brittany, and we used to do so many things together. And we have so many great memories with them too. And, he also had his nieces, Allison and Adele and Ava. And then, in recent years got to be a great uncle to these 4 amazing nephews, McCoy and Campbell and Brooks and Everett. And he had so much pride in his family and just loved those kids so much. And they were so lucky to have just like the funnest guy around. I mean, he made everything so fun.
I know. You're exactly right. You would think, oh, he's, nice to Ron's kids because he doesn't have his own. No, he has plenty of kids. And also, I know for a fact that he would buy presents for kids of people that he didn't even like. And I remember Lene would always call and say, I want to thank you and it would be some present. And I would say every time, I have no idea what you're talking about, Lene. The present from you and Fez. I go, I have, for what? She goes, my birthday. I go, why would I know when your birthday is? You're not even making sense right
now. My cousin Seffi he was so close with her as well, and he was really, really crazy about her. And I spoke to my aunt this weekend, and she said something that just was so sweet to me, is you never forget when somebody is sweet to your kid. Like,
it's 100% true.
It's the nicest thing ever. And he was so, so great.
This is something that salesmen understand. Like a really great salesman will get like tickets for somebody's kid to a show or something, or baseball or whatever, because you can't even, like when they were trying to put the peace accord together, the Middle East peace accord, nothing was working and everybody was leaving, and then Jimmy Carter had all these signed pictures for all these guys' kids and grandchildren, and it made them come back to the table. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because you're just like, well, you've given me something that's the only important thing to me. You know what I mean? You've given me that. I can't believe that we're even talking about this. I would never say anything nice about the way he is with kids. I would say that he was annoying because once the movie What About Bob came out, it's all Fez and I did in front of the kids. I'd come downstairs and he'd be playing. He's on the trampoline and all that shit, and I'd be like, "Oh, what is he doing here?" And the kids would be like, "We're playing." I go, "I think it's time for Fez to go home now." And they would be like, "No." And I mean, this went on for decades. It's just the stupidest thing.
Yeah. I even was talking to my brother, and he remembered a time that he stayed over our house, like as though we didn't do it enough, but he was sleeping over our house, so it went on all night. It was like it was like we reenacted the movie, but we were just laughing at you yelling, "He can borrow my slicker!"
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, we were forever like reenacting movie scenes, which is, if you follow us on social media, you'll see a photo of me and Fez, him dressed up as Uncle Fester or Uncle Fester, and me as Wednesday, and we're reenacting a scene from a movie. And I had to point out that this was just a Thursday at our house. This is something we would do, is these crazy Thursday theme nights. And Fez came dressed up like that, and he got ready at home. And I remember when he got there, he told us that he had to stop and get gas on the way and run in for something, and he was dressed like Uncle Fester in the middle of summer in Florida heat, and he said, "I just look crazy." But he would, have no problem. I mean, is that not so him as just committing to the joke or the bit or whatever the fun thing was with like zero fear or shame of doing so? It's so hilarious. Even stuff that was off air, like it was the way he was in his life.
Yeah, as long as he knew that this was the bit, he was going to commit 100% of the time. And quite frankly, whether he came up with the bit or not, it didn't matter to him. His thing was like, okay, there's a bit going on. You know what I mean? And I never heard him say, hey, not now. Okay, dude, I've been going through a lot. You know what I mean? Like, he would just go with the bit.
Man, growing up with this guy, he would never get tired or bored of playing with us, or he would only just get physically tired. So we would just wear him out, and he would be like, buddy, I can't. I have to lay down on the floor. But he would never get bored of us.
That's what at the end, the doctors were actually saying. They were like, did he play with kids too much?
What?
All right, it's the Bennington Show. And I already have this in my head. If we don't pull this off correctly today, we'll just do it again some other time. I don't want anybody to feel the pressure to have the perfect show for Fez. We'll open up the phone lines later, but the number of people that have reached out to tell me how bad they feel. I mean, I'll say this, and I know it seems like his family is so moved that he's been off the air for like 6 years, and R.I.P. Fez trended as #1 the day that we announced on social media, and then all of a sudden Big Cat went up, and it was all people that were just calling him the Big Cat. That also trended and was trending again this morning. And his family was really, really moved by that people love him so much. And my favorite thing that people say is that he was a sweet, gentle man, because it makes me laugh every time.
Every time I see that, I think, well, he was sweet to me. I know that.
That's good. He certainly, that was a part of this very complicated guy. There was a sweetness that was certainly one of the colors of that rainbow, but there were many, many colors in that rainbow. And believe me, I'm a complicated person myself. I don't understand myself. I don't understand Fez, and I never understood the Ron and Fez show. You know what I mean? We just ran with it all the time. And he, in particular, the WNEW Ron and Fez show is where I think Fez was at his peak. He hadn't gotten sick yet, and it was his first time to step out from that other role that he had on the Ron and Ron show. And I remember just thinking, wow, a lot of fucking times. You know what I mean? There was so many times I was just like, Jesus, this kid is really popping now, you know? And I am so thankful that we did that. I'm so thankful that we came to New York. And I'm so thankful that the spotlight shone on him, because he was just lightning, you know. He was just lightning. And I'm a person who, I mean, I love comedians. I love funny people the best. And he was just a different kind of funny than I've seen anywhere else. You know what I mean? Just anywhere else. And one of the few things that Fez and I had in common, and we didn't have a lot in common for people who ended up being together as much as we did, but we were young back when they wouldn't say somebody was gay on TV. You know what I mean? So it'd be like Wally Cox. Everyone knew he was gay, but you never seen it. And who was the one on Bewitched? Uncle, whatever the fuck his name was.
Yeah.
What is it?
Paul
Early?
Lynn. Paul Lynn.
Uncle Paul Lynn. So that was another one. I mean, he absolutely loved Paul Lynn and that kind of stuff. So when we started to figure out what to do with the Fez character, he would never cop to it. That was the joke. And it used to make us laugh so goddamn hard that people were curious about it. Anything that people thought they figured out, it was always 2 steps behind, and that always made us laugh. God, he's so funny. I have to tell you, I'm not a person who sees stuff in everything. I'm just not. You know what I mean? I'm not like, something happened because it was fate, or there's a sign. The universe has given us a sign. But the morning that I heard, and it was Chris's, the day of Chris's birthday, I was out getting, and I got a call. I was getting those Jenny Hutt steps in, and that Fez had been rushed to the hospital again. And this has happened so many times that I'm like, okay, thanks for calling, check back in. And I'm walking down West Prospect Avenue. And
Prospect West, yeah.
I'm going past, and there's a bagpiper there playing the bagpipe. And I put it up on the thing. Oh, you can go ahead and play it today. Just catch this guy on the street. So I'm like, Fez is a Scotsman by way of Newfoundland, his people. And I'm like, this is a weird thing. Is that Scotsman down in Florida sending me a sign? And that's when he flatlined on Monday, 27 minutes. Also, I was watching this guy. He starts to go into Danny Boy, and I quick turn off my phone because I'm like, I'm not fucking, you know what I mean? I'm not going to fucking sit here and do your fireman death song, motherfucker. You know what I mean? I'm getting out of here. After Fez had passed away, his sister went through his papers, which also would have killed him. Oh my God. And Fez had written some stuff down, whether, I don't know how serious that he was or wasn't, but at one thing he had filled out this thing about a funeral, and he'd put down that he wanted a bagpipe, and he wanted him to play Danny Boy, which is not that crazy if you're going to have a bagpipe guy there. You know what I mean? But the fact that that happened like at the same time, and by the time I got home, I found out how bad it was. His sister had put me up to the phone to talk to him. I have to say this is like Tammy, his sister. The night that we knew that we were going to lose him, that she put me on FaceTime with him. And I got a chance just to tell him that I couldn't imagine any of this without him. And I thought he was the funniest one of all of us. And I thanked him.
So great.
It's amazing.
When we were all out on the road, when we were young together, now Mitchell's gone, Carl LaBella's gone, Ross Reback, who put that show together in terms of producing and booking the shows, is gone, and now Fezzy's gone. These are the funniest people from my youth. And also, without Fez to share it with, I don't remember who the hell everybody else is. He was always my memory when I'd be like, hey, who was that sales guy in Daytona? Who was the guy in Miami that used to bring a snake to work? I could never, you know what I mean? So he would tell me immediately. And this week, I started texting him so many times. It's really funny when a lot of people will go, you guys were like brothers. And I'm like, no, I have a brother. Fez has brothers. You don't do a show with your brother. You know what I mean? Like, whatever we were, I'm not even sure whether it has a name to it. You know what I mean? And a lot of ways I just felt like felt like that thing where when you're a little kid and you meet another little kid who'll pretend with you.
Yeah. People have reached out to me, and everybody keeps saying, I know he was like family to you, or I know that he was really family. But I think the thing that was really remarkable to me was that he was my friend. Like, he was my family, but he was my friend through my whole life, through many stages. I'm lucky for that.
Yeah, it's a very weird thing. That's a very unique guy to have in your life when you're a kid growing up. Yeah, I don't even know how much I'm going to miss him. Chris, you were with him for many years, and here's what I love about it. I mean, up until a week ago, Fez would always write to me if Vito or Chris had any kind of levels off or any kind of loose board. Mm-hmm. It was always pointed out to by Fez. Fez used to listen to the show every day, even when he didn't call in, and then I would just get a thing. I don't know whether you know this, but it's always funny to me.
He loved catching us. He loved it. I mean, Fez has been in my life for 20 years because I was just a listener, and I worked with him for I think 8. I think it was 8 years from my internship to the end of the Ron and Fez show, but I remember the first time hearing you guys on the fucking radio on WAW. Like, I heard, and it was Fez's voice that drew me in. And then I listened to the show, and then you guys go to satellite, and then I listened to it, and it got me through I was working data entry, and I would listen to that show every day, laughing like a crazy person, and everyone else in the data center was like, what the hell are you doing? You look like a crazy person. And I'm crying laughing, and I think, okay, maybe I can be an intern for this show. And then I end up fucking working with you guys and like performing with Fez and being his friend and spending so much time with him. And this doesn't even seem fucking real. Like, it doesn't seem like this is reality, us doing this show today or getting that news. And I love them so much. And to say that in the past tense feels fucked up. Even though he was on Vito's ass all the time, and we fucking went into it. We went on it on the air multiple times, just screaming matches, just like fucking like blind rage of just yelling at each other, just fucking like to the point where it's like after the show, it's like fuck this guy, like even off the air. But fuck all that. It's like being able to have such an important person in my life and then being able to work with that person, it's fucking mind-blowing. It's I don't feel like that happens a lot, and I feel grateful for that, but I'm also terribly, terribly sad. And all this weekend I've been fucked up. Like I listened to that the song we opened with, the Oddities, the WNEW intro. I was bawling, crying, just listening to it over the weekend. Just losing my shit over and over again. And I was thinking to myself, so I've lost a lot of people in my life, my whole family I grew up with, friends. And how I dealt with that was pushing aside the feelings and just dealing with things I could deal with. Like, can I do something for you? Can I help? How I have to like make preparations for funerals, whatever. But this is the first time in my life I've lost someone so close to me, and immediately going back and looking at the times that we had together and hearing us on the radio together, and it's like it's unbelievable. Like this is a new feeling, or a new way to deal with loss or grief that I was totally fucking unprepared for, because despite all the health shit, I never thought that dude was gonna fucking die.
Me neither, dude. Me neither. That's true. Here's the thing about Chris. Gail and I both got fresh made stromboli this morning. And Saturday night, 2:30 in the morning, Fez was gone. I didn't sleep all night. I'm out at 7 o'clock in the morning, and I see these big orange shorts coming down. And Vito, I have to tell you, Stanley was jogging.
Ron.
He had a Babe Ruth baby step going with earbuds in. And I was laughing so hard when I saw him. He stops and he's in terrible shape. And he goes, I was going to get you sandwiches from Leone's. And I go, Chris, it's 7 o'clock in the morning, you know.
I couldn't sleep.
And I'm like, how far away is it? He's like, it's 4 miles away. I go, I don't want you to get me sandwiches from Leone's. And then it occurred to me, because he was going, this whole thing with Fez, it occurred to me that he didn't know that he had passed away. I had told him that, we were in grave danger, hospice was involved, but I did not tell him that it happened, so I had to tell him then. And that broke my heart, because it felt even more real to me than seeing it in him. And all week I tried to keep it away from you guys, because I thought he would bounce back, and then we would have the guess what happened last week. And now we got him on the air. Fez Whatley, Fez, you know what I mean? That bit that we've done 15 times.
So many times.
When so I ran into you in the street and you tell me that, and then after we left, I just walked around for a while, just kind of in a daze. I was just like walking. I just picked a direction and walked. And then when I got home, of course, I was thinking about all this, and then it occurred to me. So the first time I ever met you, Ron, the first time, it was like shortly after you guys came to New York. The first time, you guys threw a party at BB King's, and I went there because it was open bar, and I was a fan of the show.
Signed baseballs.
Signed baseballs, exactly. But I didn't meet you guys. I didn't get on the line to get a baseball sign.
Because we gave a free bar out. Wiki paid for a free bar. Why we signed baseballs.
I got loaded that day, but I never met you. So it was like a few weeks later, and you were walking on the Upper East Side by Hunter College, and I come out because I was at a party there drinking, and I went out to smoke a cigarette, and I saw you, and I was like, "Hey, Ron, what's up? When's the next party, bro?" Da da da. Just being an obnoxious drunk idiot. And later when I became an intern, you told me you were walking home from the hospital because it was the night of Fez's first heart attack.
That's right.
And then the next time I'll be honest, I've never run into Ron on the street unless we've planned to meet somewhere in 14 years. And not since Ron's moved to Brooklyn, where we live a fucking 10-minute walk away from each other. I then run into you randomly on the street after Fez passes away.
That is really weird when you think you were there for the first heart attack with me and the last heart attack with me.
It's fucking weird.
That's a
It's like a
really
novel.
weird bookend. Yeah.
Don't know what it means, but it is fucking very strange. This is beyond. It seems beyond coincidence.
Well, it can't be beyond coincidence. I mean, I don't understand how
no,
that would
no,
happen. I don't know how the Lord
Probably-
would want
no.
people to bump into each other before the first day.
The Lord.
That's 100% coincidence. Vito, you were only an intern with Fez, right? You never were a producer for him.
Yeah, I interned for you guys in 2013. It was
Crazy.
it was completely it was a complete accident that I ended up working for you guys. I don't even know if Chris has told you. Like, somebody dropped out the week of, and my application got put up at the top, and he called me to do an interview, and I was annoyed that I got turned down from another one, and I said, "Fuck that place! I'm not gonna do the interview." And then 2 hours later, I got a call that said, "Congratulations, you got the internship."
Yeah, I just said, I told the intern director, yeah, this guy's great. She talked to him, yeah, sure. And then I said, yep, he's hired.
And,
Playing hard to get. Great. Great angle, Vito.
and I like looked you guys up, and a boss of mine at my other job, Chelsea Piers, was like, "I've been listening to this show for like years and years, and you don't understand what you're about to do if you get into this. Like, you have to do it." And I'll never forget my first week, because my whole like idea of my life changed. I had no idea what I was going to do with my life. And I met you guys, and I just remember watching the show for the first week, and it changed like my whole opinion of the entertainment industry and of this business and what I might want to do. And for the next year, I would just tell people how lucky I was to watch you guys every day, and now it was like the most unique, and I just couldn't even explain it. I couldn't explain what it was like watching the show every day, where it was like, the show is about the show. Like, I didn't know what to say to people. I was like, it's a fucking 4-hour show about the show.
Yeah, I could never explain it either.
And it was, my memories of Fez in my first year were, even on like bad days, Fez would, there was an intern row, and Fez would pretend he had to get stuff from the printer that was nowhere near the office, and he would just come over and be like, "Oh, hey, Vito," and then just start talking to me about wrestling or something. And I knew it was like on days where he was just a little down and just wanted to talk to somebody. And so like I know that's the gentle, nice side of Fez. And then I had experiences on air with the fucking brutal like there was a day where he came up to me and he said, "Hey, me and you are going to do a bit today." And I was like, "Cool. What are we going to do?" And she said, "You're going to say this to me, and like, just trust me. You're going to call me this. You're going to say this, and just do it." And I said, "Are you sure?" And he said, "Yes, it's a bit. I know what we're doing. Just trust me." And I said, "Okay, Fez, I'll do it." We get on air. I say everything he told me to say, and then I watched his eyes change and his voice go from Fez to Todd, and he started screaming at me in his scary Todd voice. And I was just like, "What the fuck is happening?" We went over this today. And then guess what? An hour after the show, he came over to me and started talking about wrestling again.
Yeah.
So there's so many days like that, and it's crazy to have somebody like that in your life. Like, I have so many stupid Fez stories that I've told you guys over and over again. The guy claimed I broke his neck.
You did rub his neck too hard.
Too rough.
My favorite part about that is he blamed him and said that he broke his neck. But this is a guy who asked an intern for a neck massage. I mean, I don't think that's protocol.
Yeah. Next time that you massage one of our necks, nice and gentle, ask us. Let us guide you with our neck. You'll feel us leaning into it or not. Man, I love the idea of you're like, oh, I'm going to get to do a gimmick on the air. And then it all turns south on you.
Yeah, immediately. All of a sudden, he started screaming personal stuff about me that I was like, we didn't go over this.
I can't tell you how many times I either spoke to my mom or my dad in regards to when I was a listener of the show, and I would say, hey, I was listening today. That seemed like it started off as a bit.
Yeah.
Then what happened? And I would have to get the breakdown of it.
Work turns to shoot, back to work, back to shoot.
Totally. And sometimes I would have to get a walkthrough of what was what, because they would bleed into each other.
Well, luckily, I was always there to go, guys, relax, stop. I think that this thing started as a bit, and now it's gotten too
That's
personal.
true.
And last thing I want is someone to feel bad about themselves. I know, because here's the thing. I would always, once it calmed down, I'd be like, but then you did say this about Fez. You know what I mean? That would always light him back up again.
You did that to me and Fez once, where I think I giggled when he was crying about something.
Oh, yeah. That's something he hates.
I giggled.
Because you're nervous Nelly is what the fuck you are.
I'm nervous Nelly. I get nervous laughter, and he cried, and I giggled a little, and again, the voice came out, and he said, get the fuck out of here right now. And the second you waited all the way until I got through the door, and you said, no, Vito, come back here, sit down. Are you okay, Vito? And I was like, yeah, I'm good. And you would go, Fez, he's back, Fez. He's disrespecting you. And I think it went on for a good 10 minutes of me going back and forth, you saying, it's okay, come back. And then Fez, he's disrespecting everything you said. You're his boss. He's just an intern.
You might have been the last intern that we were allowed to scream at.
Probably.
End of an era.
Yeah. Error is ERROR.
There was a one time where Fez was supposed to get steak for one of our intern's birthday. It was Howie, our intern. And the Steak and Shake had just opened up over by Letterman's old studio. So he came in with Steak and Shake instead of actual steak. And that day, it was when Fez and I was really laying into Fez, and then he just started getting very personal with me to the point where, this went on for 3 hours. Fucking just him just fucking hammering me, and to the point where he started yelling, "You know what? I cock blocked you from getting the Davy Mac sports program on Sirius XM. I went to the head of sports, and I fucking said that show is garbage." And then I started freaking out, screaming at him. And at the very end of the show, on the 360, there was a drop of Susie Essman saying, "Fuck Fez," and I just started hammering it fucking 30 or 40 times and wouldn't let him talk. And that after the show, it was just so tense and crazy. It was just fucking nuts. But again, that was fucking work to shoot.
Here's what's funny about those kind of things too. All the listeners would say, "Why would somebody got steak burgers instead of steak on a birthday?" Yeah, exactly. Why would they? When everyone tries to be such smarks, right? Yes, you're correct. Only a lunatic would do that. Of course. We knew he was getting steak burgers. But Even knowing that he's getting steak burgers, and Chris being disappointed that he got steak burgers, which he knew was coming. They were into it so far that it did become craziness.
Yeah, pure craziness. Yes, because we both knew what was going to happen, and then it just went fucking sideways, and then went back, and then sideways again.
By the way, there's no goddamn way that Fez went and told somebody that show is garbage and don't give it the Saturday night slot. That would have been insane. There would be nothing more out of character than that.
No, never happened.
Earl Douglas.
Why would he do it?
Yeah. Earl Douglas. Earl and Eddie Trunk were the first people that Fez and I met when we got to New York City. And here we are 20 years later, Earl.
Yeah, and there's so many things that's swimming around in my mind about. I didn't think that day was going to be such a life changer. I think it was February 29th, 2000. And that I had no idea that day would change my life in so many ways. I mean, the thing that blew me away about you guys from minute one was that you guys just leapt in. You didn't say, "Hey, we're the new show. Hey, we're from here." It was like you guys were here all your lives. And it was, I just remember going, I was the show before you guys. I ran the board. I think I ran Don and Mike before you guys. And then, and I helped you guys set up, just showing you where everything was. And then I was like, let me check out a break. And I listened to the first break. I was like, this is different. This is cool, because, I mean, you always, I called you Captain Cool. That I was like this. I've never met a guy so cool. But Fez's jabs, those quick verbal, they hit harder than somebody like any other comedians, like haymaker. You know what I mean? Like it was super quick, and then as time went on, I was like, okay, I'm gonna listen to the first break, and then one break became two, and then two breaks became three, to the point where I ended up walking out the same time you guys did, because I just got completely into the show, and I'm like, this, and that's when I discovered that was the missing piece of that insane asylum of a radio station called WNEW. It
Earl,
was.
You wrote up this exact thing and put it on the iBank.
Yes,
I mean,
but
honestly, word for word.
But that's what I'm
reading?
feeling right now. Like that's really what
But
I'm
that isn't.
feeling.
That's the exact thing that you wrote.
It's what you were feeling then. What are you feeling now after all of us just spoke?
But the other thing was, like, you guys were just so, you are just so kind. I mean,
Not really.
there was no, but I mean, but I can
Neither
honestly
one of
say-
us is kind. I'm going to be totally honest with you.
But
Anyone-
no one ever said that. These guys are dicks. You guys have one of the best reps.
Yeah, that's true. Because we're pros.
I mean, like, no one ever questioned your professionalism. No one ever questioned, anything you needed done. You guys did it.
Great. Earl, I'm going to be honest here. One guy did. And let's just say this. You're not going to see him anymore. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You want to talk to him, you give a letter to a groundhog. Maybe he'll be able to get it to him. Tom in Long Island.
Yeah, hi guys. R.I.P. Fez. Hey, I have a question for Earl. I want to know if he celebrated or cried when Fez died, because he still didn't pay his fucking debts.
All right, today's not the day for that, and I'm sure you paid him back, girl.
To answer your first question, I wept. I have not stopped crying for 3 days. Number two, I didn't pay him back. However, I'm going to find a charity that he loved, or something connected to him.
I'm going to be honest, he never loved any charities.
No, like that money.
That'd be like if, it's better not to even say that, because I don't want fucking March of Dimes going, hey, where's the 2 G's? And then I'll have to cover.
No, that debt is getting paid.
What is it?
Why would you say that? Still, the man's gone. Just the money's going nowhere. It's in your goddamn pocket.
No,
I can't believe this is what
I know. I don't want to go with it.
We're talking about this, but you know, but yeah, I'm. You know,
Yeah, you don't have to say
I
anything.
always felt bad about it.
About what? The $2,000?
You know,
What?
and I mean, I just have all these all these emotions going through. Like, I remember when I saw you guys in DC, he was like, "Hey, stay with me. You know, you can stay with me." He took me around DC.
I don't even remember that. You stayed with him in D.C.?
Yeah, I came in for what's it, the HF Festival. I think he set that up. They had
He got you
that big
tickets?
concert.
Was it the year Billy Idol was there?
I think so. I can't remember. I remember it was like the Violent Femmes and Jay-Z did a surprise set. I can't remember.
Oh,
the
yeah,
line,
yeah. Everybody was shocked that the whole fucking crowd went crazy for Jay-Z when it was a rock station and put it on. No one
Yeah,
could
but,
understand the kids back then.
Yeah, but and then it was me, I think, Wonder Boy, and we all went to we just did a day in DC, and we went to Arlington, we went to the monuments. We were tourists, and and Fez was just kind of like and said, he's like, I wanted to do this because I missed you, and you were always good to us, and you guys gave me a second life, and I thought I was done, and then when you offered the chance for me to work with you guys again, in that at such a high capacity, I mean, I was floored. I was absolutely floored.
Earl, I want you to know something. Fez did love you. And as far as the 2K, he never brought it up. It wasn't until you said it not too long ago.
No, but I felt
that you exposed yourself. He never said it.
No, but I mean, that's how badly I felt about it, and still do. And you meet
Can I tell you
who's-
something? Fez's loss is UNICEF's gain.
Like he wanted. I have
But,
a story that I've never told.
I never saw a guy leave himself so. He went all the way in on something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I remember. I think it was one of the Thanksgiving shows. He showed up in, I think it was like shorts and flip flops, and it was something.
Dude, we could go on and on like that. The fucking Hitler mustache that they said. He had a Hitler mustache, which was really Charlie Chaplin mustache.
Yeah.
But it was, so many people were nervous about it that when Oprah came, he was told he could not go down to the lobby. And I don't know why they thought
Did he
that
get upset about that?
Yes, he was furious and he was very, very hurt.
Yeah.
And he said stuff like, I guess I'm too much of a freak to be seen by you. So that was really so funny. It was another thing that went from being a bet to being serious. And then the other time is, remember when he wore a wig even though he had a perfectly great head of hair, and he wore a wig for a long time, and then people started to talk about it, and then he found out people were talking behind his back, and he was furious. And we're like, but dude, you're wearing the wig every day.
I completely forgot about that. He shaved his head and then, purposely put on a really bad toupee.
I don't even know if he shaved his head. I think it was over a full head of hair.
I know I shaved his head at least once.
Well, plenty of times, yeah.
But
Maybe the whole show should shave their heads now as a symbol of we love
yeah.
you, Fez. Almost like he died from cancer, and then we could act like we're here to support. Maybe, get some nice fucking pull for that. I can't, I literally can't believe that he's gone. I have to tell you, too, if you go over to the Instagram page and see that thing, this was the last time that me and Fez had been on stage together. This one's going to be hard.
Yeah.
And I don't even know that if I brought this up, but I actually met him on stage. I was hosting at this little fucking club, and he had come in and did open mic night. And he was really funny. And I think I'm maybe 4.5 or 5 years older than Fez. And after the show, I was like, hey, man, that was really good. And he was like, because no one's material is good, but you can always tell if someone is funny. You know what I mean? Like, you could tell, okay, this is the funny guy with his friends and in his neighborhood, and the jokes are still not, professional or anything yet. But, I wasn't that far ahead of him, maybe half a year, fucking 3/4 of a year or something. And that's how you know people. But, and I remember he kept calling me Mr. Bennington. And I was like, dude, I'm like, 23 years old or whatever. No one calls me Mr. Bennington. But that's the thing, man. If you look at him, I knew that old man since he was like 18 years old. That's how far back we go. And we met on stage. And if you go, and I remember when we saw this picture, I was so mad at myself because I wanted to, when you do something like this, it was Fez's spot, His head should have been on the outside. But we weren't, you know what I mean? It's like I always hated that movie, Garden State, because the idiot fucking had his head closer to the thing. You don't get to see the pretty girl. You get to see the homely fucking actor. So when I saw that, I was like, God damn it. He should have been facing the audience. But when I look at it now, I mean, how I knew that this was going to be the last time Fez and I were ever on stage together. And because it wasn't easy for him to walk across that stage and do that bit. And I knew I was saying goodbye to him on stage. And the reason why I like looking at it now is I never fucking, show anything. And you can see that I'm crushed and grateful. That bit that we did, I think only a couple of us knew about it. And it was like, I get the idea of, Fez, would you come up and we'll do a wrestling bit on the air and it'll in front of the audience. And I'll be like, we'll do something where I'm bad-mouthing you. Then you come out. This is fucking wrestling 101. The guy is fucking cutting a promo and the other guy comes out. The guy who's cut the promo is immediately trying to get out of there. And there's nothing that Fez likes better than a wrestling bet. But we had to sneak him into that building, and he loved that.
Yeah. Oh my God. He loved that so much, and I think he was even in disguise at the airport and on his way to the hotel because he didn't want to be discovered knowing people were going to fly in for the Thanksgiving show. So he was scared that he would bump into people. So he spent like something like 2 days in disguise in this hotel, not knowing if maybe there were listeners or people who were coming to the show staying at the hotel. He's crazy, man.
I know. And then we had to sneak him in. Remember Hard Rock Johnny was so fucking mean to us that night because he was like, he wanted to be in it, but one of the things we wanted to do was to surprise Johnny. And plus, Johnny has got loose lips. He sinks ships. You know what I mean? We know he would at least told Trunk or somebody who might have told Florentine, and then the whole thing's out. And then that whole night was very, very uncomfortable because Sirius had brought in another producer. They weren't liking Chris or whatever the fuck. They made the whole night impossible. But that bit, and I always remember that bit because we had went over to his hotel. It's the first time we saw him. We walked over. Just me and you, right, Gail? Was there anyone else?
Yep, just the two of us. Nope.
So we walk through the bit like, okay, I'm going to be doing this. You come out. We'll do this. You paintbrush me. You slap my face the other side. Chris will come in. We stop Chris. You know what I mean? Like Chris sees that I'm getting beat up, so he wants the piece of me. We take him down to the ground, and all of us, stomp him. And then the three of us act like we're great because we just stomped Chris. I mean, it's stupid as hell. And I remember that the Me Too thing had just started then. So I was like, with the audience, I'm really glad that, I could be here because I went through hell for years with Fez Whatley. And, he abused me or whatever. And then Fez comes out, and instead of like doing the angle of how dare you accuse me of abusing me, he was like a mean abuser, and he's like, is this what you meant? He was grabbing his balls. You missed some of this, and he was shaking his ass at me. I mean, it was so fucking funny.
You loved every minute of it.
Yeah. But the way the audience, I mean, he was on a cane and everything. And he had looked way different, the heart attacks had really taken. But he crushed. So funny. And I was so happy for him that he had that. And he felt so great the rest of the night. Came out and signed autographs and stuff, met people. I mean, it was just fantastic.
Yeah.
So that picture weirdly means even more to me now than before because that's it. That's the last time. And then the picture next to it, the one that we ran the other day with the three of us, is the last time I saw him. My father's funeral. Yeah. That he snuck into. Did the same bit, really, when you think about it. He snuck in to the church in the back.
I'll never forget that. The shock of walking out and seeing him at that church. I can't tell you how strange it is in this small little church to see his face, and we were so stunned. I remember just staring at him, like trying to compute how I was seeing what I was seeing. Nobody knew he was coming to that. And for him to just like go above and beyond to do that, just because, to do that for my family, and that drive that he had to do over the bridge. I mean, these are things. He flew, he drove over that bridge. I mean, there was a lot of things, a lot of hurdles for him to come and do that.
Yeah, I was not. That was everything that he didn't like to do. Oh, and people were asking me about a service. And because of everything that's going on in his family, there's some illness in his family, they really want to put this off for a while. Maybe even a couple of months. And then I told them I wanted to do something in New York. Maybe we'll all go to the stand, invite a bunch of the comics, do what we're doing today, tell Fez stories. You know, I mean, that'll mean maybe by that time we'll all be chilled out enough to be able to deal. All right. Hard Rock Johnny's there.
Yeah.
Johnny.
Hi, buddies.
Hey, buddy. Sorry for you, my man. You're on the NFL thread with him.
You know, I it's just surreal. As much as, like you said, you never expected it, but you expected it. And when you texted me Saturday morning, I was just like, no. I was sitting outside and just kind of lost it for a bit, and just kind of makes you think. I'm so grateful to have the time and the experience with you guys and him over the last however long it's been, since 2001, right? 20 years. And gonna miss him. I'm like, you know, as we all are. It's just sucks. You know,
Yeah, it does.
Like I said, watching football doesn't feel like it's going to be the same. We had that, you know, and Fez and I would text about wrestling, and it's just, he became a real big part of my life over the last year and a half, and I'm grateful for it, because there's a reason for everything, but it just hurts, and I hurt for you guys and for everybody who's listened to the show and who loves Fez. It's really, really tough.
Yeah, it's gonna.
You know?
I was actually thinking this. I don't know whether to watch every Bucks game now or never watch the Bucks again, as one of those Fez grudge things that he would do. You know what I mean? Like, he would pick something. I'll never eat another tomato as long as I live.
I was listening to an old show yesterday, and it was like, remember when he boycotted football, remember?
Yeah,
he was like,
he did.
I'll never watch the NFL again. And then next thing you know, he's at the fucking Super Bowl, which, you know, God bless the fact that he was able to do that and get the experience and everything that he really would have wanted. You know,
I got to tell you, his brother's great. His brother, who took care, I think, I'm trying to guess what nickname Fez gave him on the air. I think it was Travis. But everybody was always like, oh, isn't that great for Fez that he gets to go to the Super Bowl in his hometown and all that? But I thought to myself immediately, I'm so happy for his brother to be able to do that for your brother and hold on to that for the rest of your life. You know what I mean? Like, who gets to do that?
And I mean, it was so incredible, and I hope that he knows how many people I saw sending messages that was the thing that they were thinking of. That not only did I see so many people go, oh man, and his last Super Bowl was the Bucks, and he got to go. Like, it made so many people so happy that he had that experience, that it was beyond even just Fez. Like, that brought so much joy and so much comfort to everybody.
Not only that, but it was enough of a blowout that he didn't have to fucking stress his heart towards the end of the game. Like, he could sit there and celebrate in the fourth. But I will also tell you this. His brother had to bribe somebody after the game in a golf cart to take Fez back to that thing, or he wouldn't have made it. I mean, you know, we're talking about this. Fez hasn't been well in so long. Having said that, I'm shocked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
I'm
was
shocked.
shocking.
Yeah.
When I got the call that he was in the hospital, and when I got the call that it was the extent that it was at, it dropped me. And I couldn't believe how scared and sad and and in so much pain I was, even knowing how many times he's been through this, it was still such a shock to me. Such a shock to be so close to facing this with him. And I remember just being so scared to start a process of letting him go. I just can't even tell you that even though he's been through all these things, like, we're all struggling so hard with that.
I know.
Just the idea of letting him go is really hard.
Yeah. I'm never going to make another friend. I've made up my mind. I'll at least Fez that thing. You know what I mean? I'm never going to have that thing again where I'm going to worry about somebody. I never want to do that again. You know?
God. I know, it's true. I was thinking too, like, with all his health issues over the years too, like, that aspect even has been such a big part of your life, of my mom's life, like thinking about all the times that you guys were at the hospital with him, or my mom took him to doctor's appointments, like even the hard stuff, like it's just weird. It's surreal.
Here's the thing though. And even when I saw this, I wanted to talk about this with Fez, because this, I don't know whether you guys saw this in the news, but it's this Travis the chimp story, which is just insane. And I'm like, Fez would love these new details. Fez would get,
right, that's
such
true.
a kick out of this.
Yeah.
And no, I mean, we can't, talk about it because it's today's Fez's thing. But I mean, finally, like a news story, a lady takes in a chimp, and that chimp attacks her. What are the odds?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. 1 in 1. But we'll get back to the Fez stuff. But the
what's that smoke?
It's a nature boy.
Listen up, this the nature boy. Woo! And every now and then, in the big scheme of things, in the grand plan of the universe, in the evolutionary design, corrections have to be made, and a species has to be taken down a notch. Woo! And I'm talking about you, Travis the chimp. First of all, let me say, Travis, I'm the nature boy. And I liked your style. You were dining on filet mignon and lobster. You were sleeping in a big brass bed. You were drinking red wine and popping Xanax like you were Courtney Love. You were living a life only a few of us know about, and I'm talking about the good life. Hey, I was with you, brother, because I drive the biggest car to the biggest house in the biggest part of town. And that's each and every day of my life. But that's where you made your mistake, my hairy friend. That wasn't good enough for you. The booze and prescription drugs just weren't enough, huh, big man? You had to have more. The lobster wasn't enough, so you had to eat a woman's face. That's where we draw the line, Chippy. Woo! This is where we step in and say, you know what, Travis the Chimp? You may party like a horseman, you may live like a horseman, but you are no Horsemen! Woo! Sure, once I slapped Mary Hart in a chicken wing crossface for changing her hairstyle, but I never ate a woman's eyeballs. I am too classy for that. Woo! That's why you had to be taken out, Travis. There's a food chain on this planet, and you are not at the top. Sure, some of you apes had some big wins. Every now and then, you grab a pretty blonde and climb a building. But what happens after that? It ain't pretty, is it? Woo! And maybe an orangutan can get lucky and make a Clint Eastwood movie. Or a chimp can go to live with Michael Jackson on Neverland Ranch. But then, nature makes a correction. Woo! Or should I say, the nature boy makes a correction. Woo! Sorry, Chip, but you are near the bottom of the chain, just above mimes. Then, at the top, you've got humans. And just above that, you've got us. The badass Ron Bennington! Woo! The road dog Fez Marie! Woo! And me, the nature boy! Woo! And we're not giving up our spot! Not for you, not for anyone, man or monkey, no way! Woo! So, you may not like it, but you had better learn to what? Love it! What? Bottom line, because we are the best thing going today! Woo! Woo! The Nature Boy! Woo! The Nature
The one, the only Nature Boy. It's the Ron and Fez Show. There he is, the Nature Boy. On hold right now, one of his all-time favorites, Mr. Anthony Cumia. Ant.
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing? How you holding up?
We're all holding up okay, buddy. How are you?
Good, man. You know, of course, here in the news, you're, you know, you get a little reflective. But I got to tell you, he's one of those guys that you just start laughing, thinking about everything he did, the experiences you had, the bits, the hanging out in each other's offices. You know, we'd all hang out together before or after shows, and all that stuff is so goddamn funny that it's very hard to just sit there and feel bad the whole time. You know, we'll miss the guy, obviously, but holy shit, the amount of laughs that guy gave us is unbelievable. And just listening to that Nature Boy thing, I'm exhausted.
Yeah, I know.
That guy, you know, it's a cliche, but leaving it all out there on the field, holy shit.
Yeah. You know, and this is true, Ant. I think you and Kathleen from the Bronx are the only two people that he didn't have a fight with over time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You were the two that had carte blanche in his life. But I was talking about this because I'm not even that sure that you were aware of this. But when we came to New York, it was the first time that he had moved center stage. You know what I mean? Like, he had been a producer on the Ron and Ron show and really didn't get a lot of mic time there. You know what I mean? He was growing up and into it. And I thought he was hysterical for the stuff that you were talking about, like writing and then also being funny in the office. And I definitely wanted him to get more mic time. And we got to New York. We hooked up with you and Opie and that pirate ship that you had with Jeremy Coleman brought us in, and it was so much fun. And you know, we would just hang out on each other's shows. You would go out for a while, have some drinks, and then just roll into our show, and it was just as natural could be. Just hysterical.
It was pandemonium. Sometimes you know the course the show would take, because a lot of times you might have things planned, but on some of those magic nights, things would just take a left turn and you run with it, and it turns out to be a classic show that people remember to this day. And there was quite a few of those when I would pop in with you guys after our show. Just unbelievably funny, natural, just naturally funny people in a place and a time that anybody in professional radio these days couldn't possibly fathom actually happened and took place in a professional network type broadcast studio.
We were in Midtown New York and doing nights, and had the door open every Friday night. If anyone wanted to wander in off the street, they were more than welcome. And, we just ran with it. I mean, it was amazing.
We would remember when it was a little slow, and we'd pick up all the phone lines and then bet on which guys would hang up and which guys would stay on the line the longest.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Just let them go, hello, hello, and they were answering each other. Who was the guest that we left alone in the studio that we all walked out on?
Oh God, that was that
it was Rutger Hauer.
Rutger Hauer. That's right. We just left him alone in the studio by himself. Huge fucking star, by the way.
I was thrilled to meet him. I'm a huge fan of Blade Runner. So I was just thrilled to be in the same room with this guy, and it turned out he was a stark raving lunatic.
Yeah, he was a German. At the end of the day, he was just a German.
Just a German. And he started throwing pencils and pens at me. And while I felt a little odd by it, I felt a little odd that it was happening. Just the fact that Rutger Hauer was throwing things at me, I'm like, this is a good memory, I guess.
Yeah, this is fun. Yeah, this doesn't always happen. God.
Yeah, and then you guys just left, and then I got up and left, and he was just alone in the studio, rambling into the microphone.
God knows what. I guess about Western culture being sucked into another kind of... I don't know where he was going with it. Yeah. But so much fun, and I just want to also thank you for the friendship that you gave Fezzy. I mean, he loved you, buddy.
Oh, I know, and I loved him. It was... what was great about it was I loved how sensitive Fezzy was. I mean, the guy's, unbelievably sensitive. But he was such a character that the radio guy and comic in me had to goof on him about these things. And I felt terrible because I didn't want him to hate me, because I've seen how he blew up at other people. So I tried to temper it with, a wink, like, Fez, I adore you, and stuff. And I think I really did get away with dealing him a lot of comedic abuse without taking the repercussions that I think a lot of other people took. And I always felt good about that.
Well, also there was always the rumor that you guys had sex. So anyway, you know what I mean? Anything that works.
That was the rumor. I think that came because he probably was having sex with my sister Dawn, so he was
I know. He had
married.
Yeah.
And she, the hairy face. She had a beard and a goatee back then too, being Italian. So maybe that caused some of the confusion.
Yeah, that was a great bit. That ran for a long time.
Oh my God! Yeah. Anthony's sister.
Anthony's sister. Yeah.
Oh,
it was so great.
The bits. Some of these bits went on for years. Just years, and they became part of the lore of both of the shows, and you guys individually and us. They just became a huge thing that people to this day still remember, and I think that's what. While it's hard to say goodbye to someone like Fezzy, just unbelievable. It's one of those things where you don't have to look and just be miserable, because there's so much funny that went
I know.
along with knowing him and just being a fan of his and listening to the radio shows.
Yeah, he really was a legend. I mean, nobody did that kind of thing anywhere.
No.
I mean, when he went on as a gay character in Western fucking Florida in the 80s, not, you know what I mean? Not exactly the safest thing to do. They used to want to send security out to his bar gigs.
Oh, my God. Yeah, talk about not one of those characters that are beloved by a lot of the locals.
Yeah, but ended up just like in New York. I mean, when people would, start, but they would end up loving him every single time. All right, Aunt. There's something that Fez always loved what I would do, and now he would go to a live read. So I'll talk to you soon, my friend, and thank you so much for calling, okay?
Absolutely. Give my best to everybody. I'm so sorry. I know you guys were just unbelievable pals, and you kept tabs on him. I always asked how he was doing whenever I'd see you. So, and you knew, you kept tabs on.
Oh yeah,
yeah. It's a loss, but like I said, a lot of laughs, man. Thank you, Ronnie.
Okay, thank you, buddy.
Lizzie Grubman runs over 16 people. Hey, Grubby, put it in park for a Vesitorio. Well. Publicity princess Lizzie Grubman throws her SUV into reverse and runs over 16 people outside a bar. And I haven't seen anyone back into this many people since the time I auditioned for the role of Prison Bitch number 2 on the hit HBO series Oz. But what really butters my love biscuit is the casual attitude with which this crime is being handled. Lizzie clobbers 16 people with her SUV, or as she calls it, her FUV. She flees the scene and is allowed to turn herself in at her earliest convenience, and then is freed after posting only $25,000 bail. In the meantime, Paula Poundstone is arrested in the night and has to post a $200,000 bond just for kissing her daughter goodnight. Sure, it was a French kiss goodnight. And yes, it was done under the nightgown. And okay, it lasted 20 minutes, but at least no one was almost killed. And now Lizzie Grubman's defenders are saying we don't know how nice she really is. Big deal. She could be delivering Meals on Wheels. She's still not allowed to run over people doing it. Besides, how do we know Lizzie Grubman has always been so nice? As a kid, she probably backed her big wheel into a bunch of first graders waiting at a lemonade stand. Lizzie claims that this was all an accident. Well, I've seen her face on TV, and I can understand if she didn't want to look in the rearview mirror. When I first saw that mug, I thought, wow, Mattel has finally put out alcohol poisoning Barbie. Not to be cruel, but when Lizzie's attorney claims she's getting a lot of sympathy, I'm sure it's only from people confusing her with Greg Allman, and they're offering their condolences on the loss of his brother Dwayne. But this whole thing reminds me of growing up in Pinellas Park, Florida, where we didn't have a lot of indoor plumbing, so our biggest crime wasn't hit and run, but something that rhymes with it. But it was there that I discovered how serious these types of driving incidents are. I remember Mother organizing a meeting of bad drivers in our barn one night with our handyman named Bobo. Bobo had brought over 15 of his friends who were all horrible drivers. In fact, by the end of the night, I overheard every one of them saying they had rear-ended Mother. One after another claimed to have slammed her from behind. The last one must have even hit our pet mule because he said he had to use a donkey punch on her and... Wait a minute. So when she was on her knees, they weren't holding her head to adjust her whiplash. Anywho, when it comes to Lizzie Grubman, we can't let her do whatever she wants just because she has money. First, it's running down patrons at a Hamptons night spot. What's next? Bombing Saks because they didn't have a dress in her size? Remember the last time a privileged rich girl was allowed to run amok? Now she owns ECW, and it appears there's no stopping Stephanie McMahon Helmsley. Let's not let it happen again. It's time we put our foot down and told these social princesses that we're here, we're queer, we will not disappear. This has been my Fezitoria.
The great Fez Whatley. Those things were always so funny.
Oh, man. Funniest.
Just crazy hearing his voice, right?
I know. It really, really is. So,
And
like,
honestly,
how lucky are we that we have the ability to hear his voice whenever we want to? I mean, that I love.
I know, but what I really want is to have him right here and then hear his voice while he's talking. Which I'm going to say, on a scale of 0 to 10 on acceptance that he's gone, probably a 7, and then sometimes a 6, and then a 3.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep trying to text him.
I know. It is a really weird thing that it's like, I don't think that it's going to take a long time to sink in because of what an important part he was in our life. Just part of just like the fabric.
Here's why I can't even begin to tell you how grateful I am to somebody, and that's his sister Tammy, who has always been there. She's been Fez's great protector over the years, and she was so sweet to me to make sure I got a chance to FaceTime and thank him and say goodbye. And we have Tammy on the phone right now. Hey, Doll.
Hey, how are you doing, guys? Gail, you're going to get me crying, baby.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we do that. That's part of it. How you holding
There's
up?
been a lot of it the last few days.
Yeah. You literally were Fez's champion in my eyes. What you did once he got sick, even though you've been through your own illness yourself, it's been just amazing.
Well, you know, I just, from the day he was born, he was my buddy. He has been my best friend. My son put it so sweetly. He said, Mom, I don't know of any two sisters who are closer than you and Uncle Todd are. And I think that's the honest truth. That, you know, I think the longer we live together here in these last 6 years, it's like, I had to remind him, I go, you know, we're not a married couple.
Yeah.
It's weird here.
You told me a story the other night about how you're only 4 years older than him, but he was your baby when he came home from the hospital.
Oh, yeah. Would you like me to share that?
Please do.
Okay. So, Fezzy is number 3 in the birth order of 4. And our older brother was at school the day it was time to bring my mom and the new baby home. So keep in mind, everybody, it's 1964 and different than Gail does with her little ones now. But so we pull up to the hospital, and my dad tells me to hop over the seat and get in the back seat to make room for Mommy. And the nurse pushes them out. They're in a wheelchair. And my dad takes this 8-pound, 3-ounce, 22-inch long baby, opens the back door, puts him in my arms, and says, "Don't drop his head." And I got to hold him all the way home from the hospital in the back seat with no adult, no seatbelts, no car seat.
Oh my
and it's like, and then Ronnie said, you know, I've been just, ever since this whole past week, it's just nothing but reminiscing, but he was born the day before my 4th birthday, and that red wagon that I talked about must have been my birthday present, because there are home movies of me, like, putting blankets in this red wagon and dropping a newborn into it and walking him up and down the street, introducing him to all the neighbors. And I'm like, where are the adults?
Yeah.
I'm all, I'm 3'11" and weigh 75 pounds. So imagine me as a toddler. There's movies of me holding him under his armpits and just walking up and down the cement driveway. He's as long as I am. But I told him, and I think you were on the phone when we were FaceTiming, and I was just rubbing his face, and I told him, you were always my favorite baby doll, because I just would get a stool and take him out of the crib. See, Gail, what you're in for with Juju. Just take him out of the crib and take him in my room and change his clothes and play with him, and we were each other's confidants. Just honestly, from the day I got to hold him, there was a bond there that I can't even explain it to people. It's very unusual, and yet it's so beautiful that we had that.
Yeah, it is so beautiful. It really is, Tammy.
It's incredible,
and
Tammy.
thank you for sharing him with me. I know what you've gone through taking care of him, and I'm just amazed by it, particularly with everything that you've gone through. You've been there for him 100%, and it's not easy. It's really, really difficult. I know I wouldn't be able to do what you do, but from the cradle to the grave, you took care of him.
Yeah. And it is, it is important to, I heard one of your shows, it is so important when you are caring for someone who has the degree of depression and mental illness, when I know he would be having a fit, that I found his journals and I've been reading them, and one of the things I kept hoping he would make it, because for all of his life, all he ever wanted was to know true love. Somebody who truly and unconditionally loved him. And to think that all of us who loved him, and like Gail said, all of our children, and you all when you were children, would cling to this man. And it was like Santa Claus walking through the door on a seeming, it would otherwise be an uneventful day. And he just thought that he never fit in, and that in some way he was wretched when he was so very much loved, and how we couldn't get that message through to him. But it's very important that when you are caring for that degree of, you're combining physical illness and mental illness and depression, and it's so easy to lose your cool. And you really do have to take care of yourself too when you're caring. And that's, if anybody is listening that is in that situation, you've really got to make sure your mental health stays intact, because it really is difficult. And now it's so lonely.
Yeah, I know. And you know what's funny? I wish, for me, I would have done everything differently. Every single thing that I did, I wish I did something different. I have a sense of failure with him.
Yeah, I have that. Like, I'm going back to just the procedure last week. all weekend, and you know better than any of us probably, Ron, that when he got going on something, it just kept going and going, you know, and I said, listen, if you got cleared for the procedure, you know, it's fine. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. And I feel like I was harsh, but now I've spoken to other people that it wasn't just me he was sending this message to. There are several people, including you, that, yeah, he was so, he just didn't think he should go through with it. And, you know, I'm always, when you've got Debbie Downer, I'm the cheerleader all the time, you know, that everything's going to be great. But and I want to thank you and my very good friend, you know, Julia Mary Catherine, Mother Teresa, who Ronnie, she's a nice looking chick. You should look into her. But she has hooked me up great for what I'm getting ready to go through. And you guys have been wonderful to our family. And it's so important to me that we stay family.
We are. We're going to stay family. And when we when we get everybody straightened out and everybody's feeling healthy, we'll do something in New York and we'll do something in Florida. And we'll really honor this guy.
Yeah.
You know, Tammy, when I was talking to my brother, we were talking about all these old times together and how much fun, and really, you know, Fez being a part of our family, and then through that, like, getting to be with your family. And we were talking about these times that I would have this every summer. I would have this slumber party, and, you know, you and Brittany would come over, and then my dad and my brother and Andrew would stay over at Fez's house. And I said, when we were having our slumber party, what did you guys call your party? And he remembered they were slamber parties because you guys would watch wrestling together.
It was horrifying.
Oh, my God.
It was like 14 hours of wrestling, and they would drink sugary drinks so they could stay awake.
Oh, my God. So funny. And Miles was remembering all these funny things, like... He was like, Dad will remember this, but remember Andrew getting knocked over by Lawrence Taylor at Royal Rumble?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. I've got one seat on the floor. Is it okay if I give it to Andrew? And then the next day I see my kid go flying.
So much fun.
Yeah. Ronnie, you used to scare me. You would let Fezzy bring me over for the Oscar parties. Oh, yeah. And I was always afraid of you because, like, as soon as the last award was over, you would, like, come down the stairs and say, all right, that's a wrap. Let's get going.
Let's get out of here.
Let me grab my purse.
Yeah.
It took me a long time not to be afraid of you.
I only thought you were afraid of me because of my lustful glare.
You know, one time at one of the events, you came up to Fezzy and I were standing next to each other, and you walked up and you said, you just, like, asked, is your husband buried in your backyard? Because he never came to
That's true. It's true. It's true. He was smart. He was the smart one. All right, sweetie. We love you, and we're going to be, in touch. And as soon as everything gets straightened out down there, we're going to figure out some fun things to do. Okay?
We are going to do that. I got everything taken care of today. That
Good.
needed to be taken care of. So then, as soon as I'm feeling better, we'll honor him in a beautiful way.
It'll be a blast. All right, sweet.
Yes, it will.
Love you so
Tammy.
much. Yeah.
Gail, kiss those babies for me.
I will.
I love you guys.
Love you too.
Love you.
She's so good to Fez, but she ain't too good. And I want to play a song. Let me take just a kick back here. This is a song by Dr. John. This reminds me of Fezzy in the way I feel about him, but not only about that. Tammy feels the same way about him. All right, Chris, hit it. Our buddy Fez Whatley. You know, it's hard to believe that I met that old man when he was like 18, 19 years old.
Such a kid.
Which one of them is crying? I can't even tell.
I'm crying.
Chrissy.
I'm the one crying.
Your crying never sounds real. That's why no one ever believes you.
It's bullshit. Everyone's full of shit. This is genuine emotion.
I know, but you
remember
run like
people
Babe Ruth.
accused Chris of that with Fez's last show. Is people accused Chris of fake crying was the funniest thing ever.
I don't know.
You know, I the other day, my husband had said, you know, during the time that the week of, you know, Fez's last show and all of that leading up to it, there was just this incredible outpouring for him and people who, you know, were part of his life, who called in and everybody who had written, and he got to be a part of that. And it really was like kind of being present for his own funeral. And my husband had said, like, you never, you know, get that chance, and yet he got to hear about how loved he was by everybody. He really got the chance, you know, everybody got to say all the things that they want to say to somebody. So we're lucky that we actually had that time.
No, you're really, really right about that. You're 100% correct about that. And then also because of, you know, what everything he's been through for like 10 years, Fez and I would just say I love you every time that we would hang up, because like it really has felt like he could be gone at any point. So we never took that. So if he ever had anything to do, if he had an operation or anything, he would always call me first if he was going anywhere. Yes.
I think maybe a song is playing right now as we're talking, just because I'm getting a couple texts that say, I hear your mics during the song, but we weren't talking during the song.
No, it was old audio. It's the same issue that's been happening that I've been told is fixed, but it's now fixed now. It was fixed before the song ended.
Okay, cool.
Apparently not, if people are saying we hear you talking through the song.
But they're on a delay, so
delay.
It was probably they're hearing from a few minutes ago.
All right, well, I forgot what I was saying. All right. Hey, his buddy Flipper is on. Well, all of our buddies. I don't know why I would say that, but Flipper in Florida, who used to do the Ron and Ron show with us. Flipper.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Good, man.
Yeah. Well, I think I was number 2, Ronnie. I think you were number 1. I think I was a close number 2. But, man, just the wave that hit us this week. And I know when Fez was out in the hospital all week, you know, me and you were getting the live updates, you know, as the days were going on. And, I mean, I really had hope Friday, you know, for Fez. And it's, you know, things were looking up and down. But, man, you know, just still when it happened Saturday morning.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, he had a rally on Friday where it felt like everything was going to be all right. And then he went back into cardiac arrest. But before that, we're like, okay, looks like we made it through. and it didn't work out that way. But I don't think I'm ever going to get around to totally accepting it.
Yeah, it just doesn't seem even real yet. I mean, literally, I mean, just like, your guys, Chris and Vito, were saying that, I was the intern back in 1990, and it all started there with me. I was just the long-haired guy down the hall that, got on the Ron and Ron show, and then he took me, it was Get With Fez, and he just took me under his wing, and then shortly after that, we moved in together. I actually got to live with Fez.
That's true.
on Clearwater Beach in a nice high-rise. And man, every weekend, I mean, it was just nuts. I mean, I took him under my wing at that time, and we just went out all the time. And we would, like, on the weekends, just make a rum runner, but it was in a half-gallon jug that we would just carry and walk along and, just fill up as we went. But at one of the times, he did blame me on Fez had that little skin rash that, bleached his skin a bit, and he still blamed me for leaving him out in the sun because the guy passed out.
First of all, it's not even a little skin rash. It's alopecia, and it didn't come from a rum runner. It came from a rohypnol. So let's all be honest about that.
You might be getting your weekends mixed up. I don't know if that was the same weekend.
No,
but man.
He actually said that he had passed out so bad from the roofies. And I don't know what you did to him when he was sleeping, but apparently the doctor said his heart has never been the same. I just heard that over the weekend. They were like, did he have roofies back in the 90s? I'm picking up some of that.
Well, I did. Me and Fez flew around to gigs a lot. We had to fly to Miami, the Keys, whatever. And I had to fly with him. And everyone knows he was a nervous wreck during flying. And I kind of feel bad in reflection because this is pre-heart attack. To distract him, I would sit next to him and just be like, buddy, heart punch is coming, heart punch. And he'd be looking at me going, what? And I would just pound him a little bit just to jar him. But, I mean, look at that. I hope I didn't add to his heart deterioration. Yeah. But it was more mental health. I was just distracted him the whole way because he was a wreck, man. It
was either you or Stan Hansen that was giving him the heart punches back then. I'm not sure who.
The heart punch. But, man, and Ronnie, I got to tell you, Fez, you talking about the last time performing with Fez, but not that it was advertised, but Fez's last stage performance officially was at my daughter Naya's high school here in Clearwater, Countryside High. He did a walk-on part at the Wonderless or the Wondrous Marvelettes, and he went on stage not knowing to do anything, and that son of a bitch improv'd up and just made the whole. He didn't even know what the play was about, but he was up on stage for about 5 to 6 minutes and just killed. I mean, the whole audience.
Get the fuck out of here! I'm flipping out right now.
You know that song Mr. Lee from the 1950s? He played the character Mr. Lee, and all the girls were singing to him and sort of doing this skit. I'll send you the video. But
send me the goddamn video. Oh, my God. I love this.
Well, you know how Fez was with posting stuff. He was always like, don't send anything out. I don't want social media. He was always like, so, I mean, I have tons of stuff that, heck, he didn't want to, he wanted to be anonymous, but I'll send it to you for sure, man. I'll send it to you for sure. But just when you were talking about that, it just hit me. I'm like, oh, God, he was in the play in April. That was just months ago. So and you should have seen the smile on his face. And I'm like, Fez, you got to perform with my daughter. And it was just like so much,
Yeah, I know, buddy. Let me tell you something. He acted in college, and he used to get the lead roles. He was, he was getting write-ups in the newspaper. And I'm like, why don't you fucking act, Fez? You should be an actor. And he's like, oh, no, I don't have the nerves for it. I'm like, you don't have the nerves to do radio. You don't have the nerves to go to the 7-Eleven. You should be in movies because he's unbelievable. He's an unbelievable actor.
I always thought before Jack Black, he was Jack Black because they almost had the same body size, almost the same look at certain times. And I'm like, look at Jack Black. You could do that. You're way better. It was just like... I mean, that's at that time in the 90s or late, early 2000s. I was just like, bro, you're killing it way above that. But yeah, so oh man, it's just so much. I mean, we're gonna miss that guy, and there's not gonna be any
forever.
other,
No.
Forever.
No, there's never be another.
I mean, the
All right,
Nature
my
Boy.
man.
All right, buddy.
Yeah.
Thanks for
All
playing
right.
those Nature Boys. Loved it.
Yeah, love you, pal.
All right, love you guys.
Peace.
See you, Gal. Bye.
Love you, buddy.
So many people saying that Fez would have loved how the mics were fucking playing underneath the song. I won't play any more bits, I guess. Oh my God. Oh man, look at this. There's so many people that I haven't heard from a long time that are turning out. And this is so great. When's the last time we talked to Beth from Tito's? And she goes, love you, buddy. It's so good to hear these bits again.
So sweet.
Giant Brian from DC, hilarious guy that produced this for a little while down there. But I love Beth from Tito's.
Yeah, she's
Had
great.
some great times with her. Hopefully we'll get back to Austin before we know it. All right, Chris, you want to send us a read?
Yeah. Yes, it's the one that you already have. So just scroll up. But I can also resend.
No. Is it from Chris on your thing?
Yeah, just from me.
The new dish?
Yes.
And then what else?
Taser. Little dish, a little taser.
Oh, the dish would have meant a lot to Fez because he was an outdoorsman, as you know. But never wanted to be without his TV. Loved his TV. Big Cat loved his TV, we used to say. Big Cat's curled up in front of his TV. The people you meet outdoors come in all shapes and sizes. You got hikers and bikers, thrill seekers, tailgaters, pop-up campers, Class A glampers. No matter what draws you outside, we've got something in common. A love for the great outdoors and a love for great TV. Dish Outdoors offers portable satellite antennas that go wherever you do. Catch up on live news, sports, weather, all in HD. Plus, only Dish Outdoors has a pay-as-you-go programming with no contracts, credit checks required. Just activate before you hit the road, and then only pay for the months you need. The Dish Outdoor antennas are quick and easy to set up with fully automated signal finders and work without Wi-Fi or cell data. They're so lightweight and compact, you can take them anywhere. Visit dishoutdoors.com to learn more. Get free shipping. Restrictions apply. You know, when I was doing the FaceTime thing for Fez, we stayed for hours talking to him and stuff like that. And at one point, his pacemaker went off, and I didn't know this. It makes sounds like a telephone coming out of his chest.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Oh, my God.
That's really
Yeah, I know. It was wild.
That's weird.
It's like having a taser in your chest. I like to say, I go, go ahead, Big Cat. Your taser chest now. Don't you love his sister, Chris?
I love her.
Oh,
So
my
that was
God.
amazing.
That's so great.
Let me tell you this. Fez is a kid. He's on our show. The whole thing from Fez Whatley came from, he was like an intern. And we got these titty dancers from one of the fucking shitty clubs in there, right? But they're all dressed. So we had him call from the other room. It was like, hey guys, enjoying the show today. Any way you can get those girls to take their clothes off? And it was so funny. So we're like, what's your name? And he goes, Fez Whatley. And we're fucking biting through our lips, right? We're laughing so hard. And we're like, unusual name. He goes, my dad's a Shriner. This is how fucking quick. And he just ripped off Pistol Pez Whatley's name. And then when people go, are you supposed to be like related to Pistol Pez Whatley? He'd be like, what? How funny is that, though? Anyway, you can get the gals to take their clothes off a little bit. It'd be great for us guys working out here. Ladies, you heard Fez Whatley. And then that got weird because people were like, you know, we're on the fucking shitty rock station, right? Playing fucking stupid rock music. So people were like, get that gay minority off the air. But it was, you know, the 80s, so they would say different stuff. But it was very, very funny, and I knew everybody was going to turn around into it, right? But, and this is the first time I meet his sister. She comes into work, right? First time we see her, she comes in. And she's like, my name is... She goes, I'm Fez Whatley's sister. My name is Les Whatley. And then she just started doing that. My partner, me and him haven't been together that long. And I'm fucking vouching for Fez, right? He's looking at me like, what is going on? I'm like, I don't know, but I think this is working, honestly. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know where this is going, but I really love it. Seems unusual. My name is Les Whatley, and no one better mess with my brother, Fez Whatley. I told you, she's chief protector. And his feelings were like, he was like, oh, gosh. You know what I mean? It's like, it's almost like she stayed up in the, showed up in the playground to protect him. But it worked. My buddy...
If you dig Key West, does it make you gay if you wear a dress? Does it make you gay like Ron says? Hell no, man, it makes you Fez. Does it make you gay if your love for men is growing? Does it make you gay if your favorite job is blowing? Does it make you gay to have a crush on Ron Diaz? Hell no, man, it makes you Fez. To be the boy toy. It makes you Fez to be acting so coy. It makes you Fez to do the Fezatorial. It makes you Fez to be so damn adorable. Does it make you gay to get a blood test? Does it make you gay thinking Liberace's the best? Does it make you gay like Ron says? Hell no, man, it makes you Fez. Does it make you gay to eat a man-sized snack? Does it make you gay to deliver love round back? Does it make you gay to get your ears pierced? Does it make you gay to be singing so fierce? It makes me Fez to drive the fellas crazy. It makes me Fez to date the U.S. Navy. It makes me Fez when the boys call me Mammy. It makes me Fez when this song wins a Grammy. It makes you Fez. It makes me Fez. It makes you Fez. It makes me Fez. It makes you Fez. It makes me Fez. It makes you Fez. Like Ron says. Hey man, it makes me Fez. Growl.
Fez Whatley, along with the Dead German Tourists, that was a band that Flipper put together, named after some tourists that were killed in Florida. Very controversial band. Very controversial band. Yeah. We are saying goodbye to our buddy Fez Whatley. You're not going to be able to get to everybody who's called in. I mean, our phones have been slammed all day, but we're just doing our own memories a lot. But Mikey Boy wrote something. Isn't that really, really sweet? He said, fantastic tribute. I've heard from so many people that I haven't heard from in a very long time, and it just kills you. By the way, Patrick from the stand said he's in. Pick a date, any date. We want to do a Fez tribute. That is, as long as he doesn't have Dave Chappelle booked. And
okay,
I'm like, we'd love to have Dave Chappelle do a tribute set for Fez. That would be nice. And maybe Dave Chappelle could sing "It Makes You Fez." You know, my name is Dave Chappelle. Here's a guy who, well, he put Chris Stanley on the Shizer list. It's our own East Side Dave.
Hi, guys. How are you? Oh, my God.
Well, it's kind of tough. Maybe you heard, Dave.
I heard. Yeah, no, I wanted to call in, and honestly, I just wanted to call in to hear your guys' voice. This has been more upsetting than I can possibly imagine. Every time I'm thinking of, like, fun stuff, like, I just had two things that popped into my mind real quick. Was like, Ron had us go to Fez's house one time to watch football and smoke pot. And it was the
fantasy party. Fantasy league party.
And it didn't make sense. I'm not even sure if we mentioned it on the air or anything, but me, Pepper, and Fez. He and we just smoked weed. Ron was there. I mean, a lot of people. And it was like, when you talk about, like, going with the bit, I honestly believe that Fez was really like that a lot more in life. Not just, I know he had the stuff and the anxieties and the phobias, but damn it, there was a time where Ron, I broke up with Westside, and Ron said to Fez, why don't you take Dave out to a martini bar, which again is puzzling, because we're like, why martinis? I mean, Fez is classy, but it was like me and Pepper or Pitsy, I don't remember, we're a couple of
It was Pitsy.
Yeah.
Why? Well,
I wanted you to meet a classy lady. You know what I mean? It would be a nice time for you to meet a classy lady.
Tell you, I've never told you. Fez was amazing.
Yes.
This is what I mean about not, like, it was off the, like what you guys pointed out, off the air. He didn't just take us out for martinis. He was giving me relationship advice. I mean, I don't even know where he got it from, and it was the one goddamn time where, like, it was weird. It was just like, he was like, Dave, there's plenty of ladies out there, and you're doing it, you have a high-profile job in New York City, and there's lots of gals. And, I mean, he did use the word gals.
Yeah.
And it was like the greatest thing ever. And then another one was, I think I may have been, I slept over at Fez's house like 2 or 3 times on Roosevelt Island. One time, Ron, and by the way, I'm seeing a pattern here. Ron setting up like play dates for Fez and I.
What?
But,
to what?
I mean, you're like setting up like play dates for the both of us. Because this time was this is really, and I'm happy. I'm laughing now. I've been laughing, crying since Saturday morning when Ronnie let me know. But this one was great. Ron had me go over to Fez. Now this to see if this makes any sense. Dave, go over to Roosevelt Island and show Fez the movie Frailty with Bill Paxton. I was on the movie. So,
good movie.
I was very high on the movie Frailty, and you told me
too.
Show it to Fez. Put a sleepover. When I got to his house, there were bowls of popcorn and snacks that were way too large for 2 human beings to eat. He had huge lime green bowls filled with 8,000 pounds of Cool Ranch Doritos and popcorn and all this stuff. But it was just go. The heart. I honestly think it's because Fez lived a life, and we all
live a life.
He went. Yeah. We all have our shit and all of issues and all of this stuff, but he lived a life, and it's
he did.
He's such a, and I'm in denial a little bit. Shows like this are definitely helping me and helping all of the Ron and Fez fans. I could straight up tell you that. Being a dick card holder, what kind of fan club you have to call in? Say, hey Ron, my dick number is 10278. And then there's Fez with the hey, it's just there's one.
First of all, there's no such thing as a dick card. Am I wrong about that, Earl? Did we had big ass cards. We never had dick cards.
Dick holder. Oh, I'm sorry, big ass. Oh no, I'm sorry, Ron. I apologize.
Jesus.
It was a big ass card. Ron, you wanted. This is when me and Fez were feuding, and we could also have great feuds. But I believe, and definitely, as you guys mentioned before, sometimes works go into shoots, or shoots go into works, or whatever the vernacular is. But when one of these moments, it was a big-ass card, and you wanted me to get under Fez's skin. So it was Dave identification cards.
Oh, I do remember that now. You were correct, Dave. I forgot about that.
Yeah, so it was Dave identification. Yeah, and it was only to grind Fez's gears from my behalf. Like, hey, Fez, it didn't make any sense, I guess, but it was... But one thing that I'm incredibly grateful for is with his last health issue, I did reach out to him, and unlike Chris Stanley, he got back to me very quickly.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Oh, that's so great.
We discussed AEW and Darby Allin. Fez loved Darby Allin at AEW, and I mean, going forward, like that's going to be my guy. And because I still love the wrestling. I watched the WWE, I watched the AEW, but I'm only going to think of Fez when I watch that dude. And he was the most talented person you could possibly imagine.
Too bad that you didn't go to a slam over party, because those things were apparently big.
Yeah.
Hey,
that was the
David
funniest
Mack.
story I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
So anyway, thank you guys for allowing me to call it.
I love you, my friend.
Love you guys.
Take care
Love
now.
everybody, and love Fez. See you later.
Earl, do you have anything that you didn't write down already on the iBang? If anyone wants to hear Earl's thing from Earl, hey, there's Frankie.
Hey, Frankie.
Hey, Frankie. What's Juju doing today?
Just she's in the other room being wild. I can hear her in the background.
She still using her binoculars?
She is, yeah.
I love that. Earl, have you picked out a charity yet for Fez?
There's one LGBTQ organization down in Pinellas.
Oh, no. Don't do that.
Come on, man.
I just want to say very, very quickly, it was great hearing from Ann today. Opie did a tribute. Jim and Sam spent some time this morning. Chad Dukes did a tribute show for him today. It's really, really sweet. And I have to say, I don't know who started the R.I.P. Fez thing that trended #1 in the country on Twitter, but it was incredibly sweet and meant a great deal to his family. Everybody, I don't know whether it's always crazy like this, but when someone in your family dies, you just love hearing that people liked him. You ever notice that? Like, it's a really strange thing. Whether it's small town or what we're doing, it's always the same thing. People are like, yeah, people liked him. We're like, yeah, people liked him. It was his living.
I mean,
for 30 years.
That's what my family has been doing the last couple of days, and Fez's family is just going through and reading all these amazing things everybody has been writing about him and sending to us, and it's been incredible. I mean, to me, like that part has been this bright spot of just this incredible outpouring for him that was, I think, beyond anything we expected and anticipated.
Well, absolutely. He hasn't been on the air in 6 years. I mean, that kills me. It just kills me. It also kills me that me and him had a deal. I was supposed to die first, and he was going to do my eulogy. And because I knew that he would have brought the house down. You know what I mean? And now who am I going to do? Earl? I remember staying for the first break, staying for the second break. I mean, it sounded like Al Dukes had jumped in. But I will say this. Earl is like a little something that Fez has left behind for us in a weird way. That thing where, like, you're going to say you're going to change, but you never do. You do remind me of Fezzy more than anybody, Earl. And coming up with some kind of saying all these initials. I never know what to call the initials. L,
GT.
Yeah, I would love to know the initials. Real quick, our old friend Tasteless Ginny is on the line. She was a producer for us back at NEW.
Hey, Ronnie.
Hey, sweetie, a long, long time. It's great to hear from you.
Oh, it's been so long. And just listening to this show, first of all, it's an honor to listen to the show and to hear it's the voices of all of my memories from the most fantastic part of my life. I made a prank phone call to you guys. You guys said, you're funny, call again tomorrow. And it launched a career that's now spanned 21 years.
Amazing.
I remember when I started working for you, you telling me, now you have to really produce now. And I said, sure. And I had no fucking idea what I was doing. And
no one does.
I remember it was like being thrown into a pool. And Fezzy, I love Fezzy. He was so protective of you. He wanted to make sure that I wasn't fucking up the brand.
Oh, yeah. That's him. Hey, Jenny, we're so proud of you, too. It was really, really great to hear from you. And I'm ecstatic
I recorded
that you're
my
doing...
show today. I recorded my show today so I could be on hold and wait my turn.
I love it.
I love you. I love you. That's why.
I love you too, pal. So great to hear from you. Thank you so much. Here's Tony. Tony, what's up? Tony,
hey,
we got
up,
you, buddy?
How you doing, brother?
Hey.
Hey, I've been listening to Fez all weekend. Obviously, it's a huge honor to talk to you today, and I'm so sorry for all of your guys' loss. But, I really wanted to focus on what made me laugh the hardest. So I went back to some clips of Fez and Shelby cutting it up. And goddamn, if it wasn't the funniest fucking thing in the world when Shelby came towards Fez and he said, "Shelby, if you cut near me, I'll fucking knock you back."
Yeah, man.
Cried laughing.
I saw Shelby wrote something really, really nice. And he stayed in the business, right? He's out there making shit happen.
He's producing a podcast, yeah.
It always makes me happy to know how many people went on and did other stuff. Probably Earl's the only one who hasn't. Am I
Probably
right when
not,
I say
no.
that, Earl? Didn't you have that bread podcast that you guys tried on? I forget what it was. It was like, what were you guys doing there? Periscope?
Yeah, Lily and I would do a thing on Periscope whenever we got together. We'd just do a quick thing. And it was fun. It was a lot of fun to do.
Zito just wrote this to us. He was said working with me and Fez was like all of a sudden being on the 1996 Bulls every day, looking around the huddle like, what? I'm on the same team as MJ as Scotty. I call MJ. He goes, in my case, Scotty was normally screaming at me, but it was still an experience unlike any other. And he goes, I swear to God, I thought that cat was going to say cookie. It's so fucking funny. All right, Flathead's asking if it's going to come down to me and him, last man standing. First of all, Flats, you're going to keep fucking standing because the amount of fucking coke in your body. Long after you're dead, you walking dead motherfucker. You know what? I think I got that fucking 8-ball of Mitchell Walters after Fez went into his coma. I'm not sure if he saw it. I'm not even sure.
Oh,
shit. I don't think so. I think that was after it happened.
Oh, look who it is. It's our buddy Arch. Hey, Arch.
Hey.
What's up?
I would like to sing a verse of Ave Maria for him.
I would love it.
Okay. Ave Maria, gratia plena, Maria, gratia plena, Ave, Ave Dominus.
Oh, that was beautiful. Oh, still
Yeah.
going on. Still going on. That was nice, Arch.
That's nice.
We wanted to play Fez himself. This was his last show. I haven't even listened to this, so let's just give it a play, Chris.
Thank you, everyone. This has just been such an absolute privilege. I can't believe this was my life, where you get to work with your best friend every single day. You get to come in and have some laughs, and just meet amazing people, and just thank you. And Ron Bennington, I just want to say I will cherish you. I will carry you in my heart the rest of my life. You changed my world, and I can't say thank you enough. And for everyone in Florida, Uncle Todd's coming home. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate it.
Oh, man. Just want to say that I love that guy so much. So much. He's given so much to all of us. So many memories, so many laughs. And last night I was talking to my brother. And he told me that his earliest memory of Fez was me and him playing with Fez's bleach blonde hair and putting bows in his hair. And when it was time for him to leave, he said we each grabbed one of his legs and sandbagged him because we didn't want him to go. And honestly, I feel like that now. It's the same feeling. We just wanted to keep that guy. I love you so much, Fezzy.
I love you too, Fez. And if I had the chance, I'd do everything different. I really would. Every move we made to try to do something, I don't think it was helpful at all. But between that and nothing, I wouldn't want to go through the problems all over again. I wish they were acorns, buddy. I wish they were acorns. We're going to miss him for the rest of our lives, Gail. And I want to thank everybody. Most of all, I want to thank his family for sharing him. I think at any point his sister would have said, "Don't go, Fez," and he wouldn't have went. But he got on every plane. He went to all the markets. And he gave me a ride of a lifetime. And quite frankly, we wouldn't have this show here if it wasn't for him. We never would be doing the Bennington Show. This show is a reaction to the show before.
Yeah.
That's what I keep doing. Next show, I plan on just working with really cute puppies, just having them jump through hoops and stuff. Thank you so much, Fez Whatley, and I mean that with all my heart. I love you, buddy. My family loves you. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. It doesn't have to be the last time we talk about them. Take care.
Satellite's gone.